Hello guys, welcome back. Memo blocks are an integral part of my studies when I need to remember bits of important key information. So in today's video, I'll share with you how I use it for my academics. So what sparked me to use memo blocks in the first place was because I needed a place where I can gather key information for the subject. So let's say for example, I have this exam question right here, and then I do my answers. And then eventually I got it wrong, or maybe I had some key information that I need to take note. Then I write some stuff down here. Or maybe in your school notes, same thing, there's some important lines here and there. And then I found another thing that I need to take note about, so I write down some key information again. Then yada yada yada. So the thing is that as the school curriculum kept going on, the number of key information that I have right here just kept piling up. And eventually, it gets lost in my huge amount of papers and I don't visit them again. This seemed very counterproductive, and that's when I thought of using memo blocks. It's very portable and I can study on the go with it whenever it's on the bus or in between lessons. So how I use memo blocks? So first I'll label the memo block with the subject. So be it mathematics, geography, chemistry, whatever. I won't actually label this one because this is actually still a fresh one, because I sadly lost the ones that I had used for my A-levels. So with memo blocks, I'll write down some bits of key information that's helpful for me to remember. It should be a small chunk, and so that it can actually fit on the paper itself. As you can see, it's not very big. So it's kind of hard to write directly on the memo block itself because, well, this is a pretty elevated surface. But what you can do is you can actually remove the ring and take out the bits of paper that you need. So there's a ring right here. You can take this part out and you can actually write down on the paper itself. So this makes it a lot more easier to write. So the important thing here is that you need to customize this to remember things that you yourself want to remember. So for example, in the context of mathematics, I have this acronym right here whereby it's like some sort of hierarchy when you want to decide integration by parts. So this is a very small big chunk that I want to remember, so I'll write it down. You can also want to remember some formulas that you tend to forget easily. So for example, here I also wrote down the scalar product, which is something that I tend to forget quite easily, so I want to remember it. You can also write down things that you got wrong for the exam and you want to rectify in the future, because chances are if you wrote down the thing that you got wrong on the exam paper itself as a correction, most likely as time goes by you'll probably not visit that same exam paper again. So by writing in the memo block, it can serve as a very portable device for you to remember things that you got wrong too. You can also use memo blocks here as sort of an active recall tool. So for example, I have this question here, what is the powerhouse of the cell? So the answer is mitochondria or something. After you are done with this, you can put it back into the memo block. And then you can work as a front and back kind of thing. So you can try to answer the question itself. So what's the powerhouse of the cell? And you can see it's mitochondria. So it can also double up as an active recall device if you need to use it. So when do I use memo blocks to study? I mainly use it in two situations. First is when I have very little bits of time. Secondly is when immersive learning is not possible. So basically in areas where I can't concentrate. So these kind of situations include things like maybe in between lessons when I only got like 10 to 15 minutes, as well as on the bus, because the bus is kind of shaky and I can't really concentrate over there. I also find that using memo blocks right here kind of acts like a social media distractor, because usually when people have these little bits of time where they cannot really concentrate on their learning, they tend to browse social media as a way to pass time. But by using memo blocks, because it's just so portable to study, it kind of decreases the friction for me to study memo blocks. As a result, it will increase the tendency for me to not use social media, which I find very beneficial for me. So I bought my memo blocks from Muji, as you can see right here. Cost about $130 in Singapore dollars. But actually any of them will fit the description. As long as it's portable, it can help you remember many bits of small information. So to conclude, the most useful things that I found about the Memo Block is that it's very portable, and as well as the fact that I kind of enjoyed using it to learn my stuff. Of course, there are many ways that I can choose to help you store key information also. So maybe you can just get like maybe a notebook or so and just write down the key information and compile it there. Or you can also open up a Google spreadsheet, so you can write down the list of key information that you want on a particular spreadsheet. But for me, I felt that the feel of writing on the Memo Block and studying on it was a very refreshing way to study, and it kind of made me interested and motivated to keep studying these Memo Blocks. So that's all I have for this video. If you have any other ideas on how to use Memo Blocks, or maybe any other platforms that you use to remember all this small information, do drop a comment down below. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please drop a like. Thank you and see you!